we have Carl Tyson, who is the CEO of Thinkwell, and Paulo Chalupka, the CTO of Thinkwell, and they'll be doing a presentation on how they've deployed Maple T.A into their third-party assessment tool. So please welcome them to the stage.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Is that okay? I'm Carl Tyson. I'm the CEO of Thinkwell in Austin, Texas. And I wanted to give you just a little bit of background about us, and then we'll get to the real stuff with Paulo in just a minute. But Thinkwell is a company that delivers content to higher education and to some K through 12 learners. We're mostly a mathematics publisher. We were founded in 1997. And some of you know what it was like to deliver online education in 1997. People would go, I need a computer for this. And then we were revolutionary. We started talking about doing homework online in 1999 and 2000. People were aghast that we would ever think about doing homework online. We were founded on the idea that there are not enough great teachers in the world, and Thinkwell's mission was to bring great teachers. And you're going to see one of our great teachers, our math author, Ed Berger, in a minute, I think, in Paulo's time. But we went out with the idea that if we just had the best content in the world, that people would come beat down our door. We found very quickly in education that assessments and all types of tools were very important. And we struggled mightily to deliver those assessments until one day we found Maple T.A. And Maple T.A has been revolutionary for Thinkwell, and we've been using, Paulo can tell you exactly, we went to Maple T.A, I think 7 years ago. We started using it 6 or 7 years ago. And it has been revolutionary in changing the way we deliver algorithmic assessments to college students. So Thinkwell is a company that delivers a huge amount of content and assessments online, and we stream all sorts of materials. And Maple T.A, I just have to say, has been revolutionary in enabling us to compete and make us look like we can compete with anyone in the world in the education market. So I'm going to turn over to our CTO here, Paulo Chalupka. You want to hold this or you want to put this?
I'll put this over here. Hello. I will start with a brief overview of our content and our courseware products to give you some context for how we use Maple T.A and how we have integrated it inside our environment. Our core content is a series of comprehensive video lessons accompanied by a digital printed textbook, interactive drill and practice, video sample solutions, and other supporting materials. We use Maple T.A to provide algorithmic practice, homework, graded assessments. One of our primary goals for delivering our content is a simple to use and a consistent user interface. Here's a screenshot of one of our video lessons. Our video lessons are multimedia presentations combining video, audio, text, and graphics. We use digital textbook, which is a mirror, or it mirrors the printed version as well. Students can highlight text, make comments, or draw in a book directly online. We have interactive practice. This is an algorithmic drill and practice feature powered by Maple T.A. We will come back to this particular feature in a bit. And video sample solutions, short 2 to 3 minute videos of problems being worked on a whiteboard. Here's the content again, and a little bit more context linked inside a college algebra course. Our courseware product includes full-featured LMS with all of the standard class and course management tools, communication tools, gradebook, and other features needed to run a online or classroom course. We customize it to support our content and tools. finally, to finish the brief intro and overview of the product, here's our learning environment. We built it to support and integrate all our content. It combines content for concepts related to a particular module or a topic. It is customizable and allows any combination of related content to be presented in this way. We were guided by a few specific goals when deciding on how to present the content. We wanted to hide the class management and portion of the LMS and remove as many distractions as possible. Enable students to focus on content. Group and integrate content. Use consistent user interface. Now I'll jump out to a browser and show you a little bit of what I've been talking about. Here's a top-level view of the LMS with our course content plugged in. You can see the standard LMS features that I'll skip over in this demo. You can see the table of contents, which looks very similar to a table of contents in a book. This is customizable and can be reorganized using dates or weeks or any other modules. Clicking on any of the content links launches our learning environment. And here's the book. That from the link from the table of contents, it places student at the right place, in this case, at the graphing basic rational functions. From there, students can either launch the video lesson directly from the book by clicking on the video, and I'll let that play for just a second.
Happen is like with the polynomial stuff, with the quadratics and cubics and stuff, when someone just says to you a very simple rational function, it would be great if in your mind you had just even a very rough visual sense of what's going on, what it looks like. So let's just start off with the very, very basic people, and then we'll build from there. The first person I want to look at is the following. F of x equals 1 over x. So notice that really is a rational function because I've got a polynomial, a very simple one, namely the
From there,
polynomial
students
1,
can
it's
jump right
constant,
back
divided by a
to the place in the book where they were. And I'm sorry, the resolutions don't quite match between my laptop. Then there's the video sample solutions. I'll just expand the environment to see the entire video.
All right, here we're going to do
Again,
an
there are
example
short
design
2-3
domain
minute
for a
videos
function.
showing worked
So,
problems.
Again, the domain has to do with the set of x coordinates that we use. And to me, it looks like on this graph, you know,
And finally, there's the interactive practice. That uses Maple T.A to generate the content and uses our environment to control it. I'll jump back to the presentation to give you a little bit more context for that and for how we use Maple T.A and what we have done to integrate it. First, some of the reasons that we chosen Maple T.A. Maple T.A offers algorithmic items and assessments, robust assignment management with a number of key features such as proctoring, study sessions, and more. Ability to grade complex math expressions using MathML, generated by the built-in equation editor. Extensive mathematics rendering capabilities using LaTeX and MathML, and graph generation. And for us, one of the main features was it was an existing application ready to use that we didn't have to build, which was a big plus and big benefit. We thought it was okay to spend a little more time on the integration since most of the hard work was done by MapleSoft. So how do we do our integration? What are the layers of the integration? On top, there's the Maple T.A Web Services API that Johnny mentioned earlier. We use that primarily for single sign-on and for managing the user session. Then we also do direct HTML parsing of the content generated by Maple T.A. And finally, we connect directly to Maple T.A database to retrieve important information. And the way this works, we created what we call Thinkwell middleware that sits between Maple T.A and Thinkwell that has the ability to parse content and information generated by Maple T.A and transform it and deliver it to our own application. For example, here's our interactive practice. And highlighted is the part of Maple T.A's output that we used from the original output and plugged it into our environment. To do that, we do that by parsing the HTML output Maple T.A server generates. Here's an output from the study session assignment we use for interactive practice. And here's the HTML code for that page. The part of the code highlighted in yellow is the content part that was parsed out and sent to our front-end application. So again, we basically plucked just the content piece of Maple T.A and used it inside of our environment. The other part is navigation. And you can see on the right, you will see some familiar controls for checking the answer, viewing the solution, and trying another version of the same question. On the left, we have something new. Those 5 squares represent 5 different question types, all related to the same topic. While the questions are all related, they may test slightly different concepts or skills related to the topic. In this case, to graphing basic rational functions. And I'll jump out again and show it to you in action. So here are the 5 squares, and each one, clicking on each one, will give us a different question students can test on. So this one will test students on understanding domain and range. Number 3, 4, and 5, I think, ask students to identify different types of graphs with a little bit varying levels of difficulty. The numbers you can see on top and bottom indicate how many times student answered incorrectly or correctly. So at the bottom, number 7, I wasn't very good at the first question. I answered 7 times incorrectly until I got it right. I know, and that's pretty simple. So let's try that. I'll just take a quick guess. Oops. Let me try that again. Oh, that was a good guess. So as you can see, the number on top incremented to 3. And if I want to try another question to make sure I understand this, I get different values and can test my knowledge again. Then move to another question. If I don't know what the answer is and can't figure it out, just like Maple T.A, we can view the solution. In this case, we open it on top of the actual question so you can see them both at the same time. And again, I can try again and get different graphs and different values. You get the idea how this works. So we use this extra information we get and we store it. We store how many times student tried, how many times they got it right, and how many times they got it wrong, and use it to use it in our student activity reports for instructors, so they can get an idea how well the student is doing, but also how engaged they are with the course. They can see how hard they worked or how hard they tried. So what are the benefits of this close integration and specifically HTML parsing? For us, parsing the HTML output of Maple T.A allows us to separate the content from the data and the user interface elements, which then enables us to put it together in a way that fits our environment a little bit better. We can use content directly and plug it into our environment. We can also transform the UI elements, like the buttons and the controls, and not only make them look like it's part of our environment, but also we can control where they appear and how they appear. So that was interactive practice. I'll show you a few more integration points with Maple T.A and our product. Here's a screenshot of a homework, or the initial screen for homework. And notice on the right, you can see, student can see all the previous takes they have done with the dates. They can click on them and view the results as well. Here's a homework again, this time actually taking the homework. And you can see the UI controls in the upper right now are a little bit different than for the interactive practice. For homework, they only include the basic question navigation. Here's an example of how we use direct database access and bring some of the class management tools directly into our environment. Instructors have the ability to see the detail of student takes, even the ability to remove them or reset them. They can see which one is in progress and which one is actually being used in the gradebook, and can delete it if needed. Here are the student results plugged into the environment, where instructors can individually grade the questions and add comments, just like they can using Maple T.A. The last example I wanted to show and talk about is LTI. I think that's the big buzzword in learning technology these days. We've created an LTI connector and use it to deliver content directly to customers' LMS. So what you see here, that's not our environment. That's a standard Canvas LMS. And we have the ability to launch Maple T.A assignments with our user interface directly inside Canvas LMS, or any LMS that uses LTI. We can also send the grades back to the customer's LMS and enter it into their gradebook. I think that's all for today from us. In closing, I would like to say thank you to MapleSoft for letting us show our solutions today. Integrating Maple T.A closely with Thinkwell's existing environment helped us provide features and functionality we would not be able to provide otherwise without substantial development. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
At this time, are there any questions for Thinkwell?
Are the answers, since it's algorithmically driven, are the positions randomized as well as the answers? So that
It's, we use Maple T.A. So in Maple T.A, you can randomize the answers and algorithmically generate the questions.
so the positions will show.
Right, yes.
If we're a school, we're a high school, and we buy your product, do we actually have to have Maple licenses also, or is that This is
No,
repackaged
that's
for
part
you.
of it. It's a packaged inside our product.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just curious about your presentation there. Was it flash-based with video and content and you're embedding the HTML, or was it all HTML-based?
It's all HTML based. Well, actually, the video is Flash based. We're working on HTML. The rest of it is HTML. Say again? Oh, subject areas. We integrated Maple T.A with our algebra and pre-calculus. We were working on intermediate algebra, beginning algebra, so going a little bit down to all the way to basic math. Our company, we have another product that's a little bit older that does not integrate Maple T.A. That covers some science subjects, biology, physics, chemistry, and we also cover American government, public speaking, sort of the basic college, entry-level college courses.
Hi, are you hosting Maple T.A yourself, or are you hosted in the
We
cloud?
are.
And that's how you can do the database access?
Right, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.